Singer David Burke is at the center of a disturbing mystery after a missing 15-year-old girl's body was discovered in his abandoned Tesla. Police confirmed the car was registered in his name, and the victim has since been identified as Celeste Rivas, who vanished more than a year ago. With headlines exploding and fans demanding answers, David Burke has finally spoken out, but what he said only raised more questions. I've been diving into this wild story for hours, so hit subscribe and make my day as we break it all down. It all started when workers at a Hollywood Hills tow yard noticed a foul smell coming from an impounded Tesla. The car had been abandoned for days before it was towed off the street. At first, nothing seemed unusual until they opened the front trunk. Inside was a plastic bag, and inside that bag, the decomposed remains of a teenage girl. Authorities later confirmed the body belonged to 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, who had been reported missing more than a year earlier. What makes this discovery even more unsettling is that the Tesla was registered to none other than David Burke. Now, police haven't said exactly how long the body was in the car, but reports suggest it could have been hidden there for days before being discovered. Some speculate the timing feels almost too precise. The car abandoned, then towed, and then the body noticed only once it reached the impound. It raises the chilling question, was the Tesla intentionally left behind, or is this some kind of setup? Celeste Rivas wasn't just a name in a police report. She was a 15-year-old girl from Lake Elsinore who had been missing since April of last year. Her disappearance left her family desperate for answers. According to reports, she stood just over 5 feet tall, with wavy black hair and a small tattoo on her index finger that simply read, "Shh." That detail would later become one of the key identifiers when police examined the remains found in the Tesla. Celeste's mother has said in interviews that her daughter had been seeing someone named David, but here's where the speculation comes in. There's no evidence so far to prove those two names refer to the same person. Still, the connection is fueling online theories and pushing the case deeper into the spotlight. What's more unsettling is how Celeste seemed to vanish into thin air. She was reported missing, yet very little public information ever surfaced about leads or suspects at the time. Some now wonder if her disappearance was overlooked because she wasn't a celebrity, or if investigators already had information they weren't ready to share. So how does a missing girl end up tied to one of music's fastest rising stars? That question has dominated headlines ever since police confirmed that Tesla was registered to David Anthony Burke. The world knows him as David Burke. The car itself had Texas plates but was found abandoned between Bluebird Avenue and Doheny Drive in the Hollywood Hills. Neighbors say it sat there for days, maybe even weeks, before being towed away. Only once it reached the impound lot did workers notice the odor and alert authorities. That timeline leaves a lot of room for speculation. Did someone deliberately dump the car in that area, hoping it would blend in among luxury vehicles? Or was it simply neglected by its owner while he toured across the country? Police believe the body may have been stashed in the Tesla's front trunk several days before it was moved. That's where the story gets complicated. If David Burke really was on tour, and records show he had performances lined up across multiple states, then who had access to the vehicle at the time? Fans online have been debating whether this points to someone in his inner circle or if the car was used without his knowledge altogether. And then there's the eerie tattoo detail. Celeste had "shh" inked on her finger, the very same design that David Burke himself sports, along with celebrities like Rihanna and Lindsay Lohan. On its own, maybe it's coincidence, but with everything else stacked up, many can't help but wonder if that tattoo represents a deeper connection. After news broke that the missing teen had been found in a Tesla registered to him, David Burke quickly addressed the situation online. In a short statement, he called the discovery heartbreaking and said he had no involvement whatsoever. He insisted that the car hadn't been in his possession for some time and that he was fully cooperating with investigators. But of course, when a celebrity makes a statement that blunt, speculation only grows louder. Some fans believe his response was sincere, pointing out that his tour schedule shows he couldn't have possibly been in Los Angeles during the time frame authorities believe the Tesla was abandoned. Others aren't so convinced, claiming his quick reaction felt more like damage control than genuine shock. Adding more fuel to the fire, David Burke didn't appear on camera for his response. It came in the form of a written post. To his supporters, that was a safe, logical move. To skeptics, it looked like a way to avoid showing visible emotion. Was he hiding fear, guilt, or simply protecting himself from media frenzy? We can't say for certain, but it hasn't stopped the internet from tearing apart every word. The internet has exploded with theories since the discovery. On TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit, people are dissecting every detail, from the Tesla's location to David's tattoos to the timeline of Celeste's disappearance. Some insist this is a tragic coincidence, while others are convinced the story runs much deeper. One theory suggests the Tesla was being used by someone in David's circle, maybe a friend, a tour manager, or even a family member, and he simply got caught up by association. Another popular angle speculates that the car was planted to frame him, a calculated move designed to destroy his rising career. That idea gained traction when people noticed how fast news outlets pushed the connection between David's name and the missing teen. And then, of course, there are the conspiracy theories, fans pointing out hidden messages in his lyrics, or claiming that his silence in interviews over the past year hints that he knew more than he let on. While most of this is pure speculation with no hard evidence, it shows how quickly the internet can turn a tragedy into a storm of rumor and suspicion. Regardless of what's true, the reaction highlights something important. People are more focused on the celebrity tie-in than on Celeste's life and the real tragedy of her death. And that tension between seeking justice and chasing headlines is what keeps this story alive in the public eye. At the heart of all this speculation is a set of questions that no one seems able to answer just yet. How did Celeste's body end up in David's car? Was he truly unaware of what was happening, or is there more to the story than anyone is letting on? And perhaps most importantly, who was responsible for her disappearance in the first place? For David, the timing couldn't be more critical. He's one of the most streamed young artists right now, with millions of fans and a career that was only climbing higher. Even if he's completely innocent, the shadow of this scandal could follow him for years. In the court of public opinion, being linked to such a dark discovery may be as damning as being found guilty. Investigators haven't released many details beyond confirming Celeste's identity, but that silence is what fuels speculation. Every day without clear answers, fans create their own theories, some sympathetic, others damning. Was the Tesla abandoned as part of a cover-up? Could it have been an inside job meant to frame him? Or was it nothing more than a horrific coincidence that spiraled out of control because of his fame? At the end of the day, this story is still unfolding, and until law enforcement provides real clarity, all we're left with are questions, theories, and speculation. The discovery of Celeste Rivas in David's abandoned Tesla has left more questions than answers. Right now, everything is speculation, from the strange timing of the car being towed to the rumors about Celeste's connection to the singer to the silence surrounding what really happened. Whether this was an unspeakable coincidence or something far darker, the truth has yet to fully come out. One thing is certain. This story has shaken fans, raised suspicion, and cast a long shadow over one of music's fastest rising stars. Until investigators release more details, all we can do is watch, question, and wonder how this tragedy will affect both Celeste's grieving family and David's future. And hey, if you stuck around this long, I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribed.